You've been looking at this agent, Eribulin, and looking at it in particular category of patients with breast cancer. What was it you were trying to investigate? What was the big issue here?
So once we knew the activity of Eribulin in metastatic breast cancer, and once we knew the great activity in terms of overall survival, we wanted to study the role of Eribulin in naive patients, in patients with primary tumors, HER2-negative primary tumors, to see if the activity we observed in metastatic setting was also observed in primary tumors.
And what exactly is special about Eribulin?
So Eribulin is an antimicrotubule agent, which has shown, again, to improve survival, but it has also at least 2 or 3 different mechanisms of action, which are very important indeed. One of them is that it can revert the so-called epithelial mesenchymal transition phenotype into the mesenchymal epithelial transition phenotype. Basically, it transformed the mesenchymal-like phenotype into the epithelial-like phenotype.
Does this make the cancer less aggressive then?
Exactly. It has 2 important consequences. One of them is that the capacity of these tumor cells to emigrate and to produce metastasis is much lower once they have been transformed into the epithelial phenotype.
And in theory, what's the optimum way of using Eribulin?
So at the present time, what we know is that Eribulin is approved for the treatment of late-line metastatic breast cancer in many countries, but also in some countries, including Europe, it is approved in second line or beyond.
So potentially it could go into first-line treatment?
So potentially it might go. There are some ongoing clinical trials to see that, but I think that when the data we have today, with this transformation into the more aggressive to the less aggressive subtype, I think that the best way to optimize the treatment with Eribulin should be today in the second line, much better than in the third line, much better than in the fourth line.
And it could help to sensitize tumors to other drugs?
That's a very good point. So I think that absolutely yes. So with the study we have presented at San Antonio 2015, we have observed that we might transform the luminal B into the luminal A subtype. It could be very interesting to explore the role of Eribulin with endocrine therapy, because maybe we might sensitize these tumors to endocrine therapy.
Okay, that sounds a great hope. So tell me what you did in this study.
Yeah, so basically what we wanted to observe is the activity of Eribulin single agent before surgery in primary tumors in HER2-negative patients. So we had 2 different cohorts. One of them is in ER-positive HER2-negative patients, and the other one in triple-negative patients. So what we have presented so far is the ER-positive HER2-negative cohort, and we have observed first, Eribulin works, Eribulin has activity in this group of patients, but also, which I think is even much more interesting, is that we have observed that luminal B tumors, 50% of them, are transformed, are changed into the luminal A tumors. And I think this might have important consequences because we have decreased the aggressiveness of these tumors.
How well established is this? What was the size of the study, and how sure are you that this remarkable transformation might be taking place?
Okay, so the study was designed to include 200 patients in total, 100 with ER-positive, 100 with triple-negative. Again, we have presented only the ER-positive cohort. So we have included about 100 patients, more or less. So I think that there is an important number of patients to have demonstrated this change into the behavior of these tumors. And again, this correlates very well with the data we had in the metastatic setting, observing an improvement in survival.
What can you say in concrete terms about clinical implications, and what can you say might happen clinically?
So I think that it has 2 clinical implications. One of them, the aggressiveness of the tumors is much lower. So clearly, the expected outcomes seems to be better. Something has not been demonstrated in primary tumors, but it should be. And the second consequence is that it helps us to understand what we have observed in the metastatic setting. Maybe we have improved survival because the tumor aggressiveness is better, is lower.
So how do you see this agent being included? Say at the beginning on initial diagnosis in early breast cancer, from that point onwards, how do you see Eribulin being included?
So I think that unfortunately there are not so many clinical trials in primary tumors today. So, we need usually thousands of patients, so it's difficult to run studies in that setting. So, I don't know if this will open us a new opportunity to explore the drug in this setting. This is something we have to discuss in the future. But clearly, the behavior of the tumor is different. That's very important. So I think that these agents might sensitize the tumor cells to be treated with endocrine therapy in the future.
So what should doctors be taking home from your findings about Eribulin so far?
So I think it might help physicians to understand why Eribulin improves survival. So what I think is very important that based on this data, I feel very comfortable in using Eribulin in the metastatic setting as early as possible. So with this data, I would try to use Eribulin in second line in Europe.